Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to be going over a void return system that I made for a friend. It's for a project or a map he's working on, and I thought I would go over sort of how it works a little bit. I might show a little bit of code. I might just do a sort of in-world demonstration. I don't know. I'll figure it out as I go. Kind of tried to record this video too many times, and I'm at the end of my fuse, and I'm just not having a great time. But I enjoy this concept. So I'm just going to show it off. This is sort of a thing that just returns you back to a valid location once you fall into the void. It's pretty nice. It also can seek. You can find a valid location if your previous valid location is broken for whatever reason. If a valid location that it finds will place you in a wall, it'll fail safe onto white stained glass. If there's no block within the seek radius, it'll place you onto white stained glass. And if you fall into the void too many times, too quickly, it'll send you to this area and your inventory gets cleared. Anything you get when you're in this area gets returned to you when you finish, though, as well as your entire previous inventory. As you can see, I have that water bucket I grabbed there, and it returns you back to your spawn point, whatever that may be set to. So that's the general gist of it. Sort of how it seeks. I'm going to just do an in-world demonstration. It looks through a 5x5x5 area. So if you are here, it will search from that block all the way down to this block here. Right? Yeah, so its search distance is sort of this cube. It prioritizes the top layer. Or it actually prioritizes straight down before it prioritizes these blocks. So let's say you have, like, all these blocks get broken, you fall into the void. It'll still place you here even though that block was closer. If all these are gone, though, let me actually have a proper valid home that's at the same Y level as this. It'll place me here, and then let me do this again. Doing this, I think right there. Yeah, okay, so now this will place me onto this block. I'm just going to quickly sort of skim through the code here on this one. We have the return here. This is a check. There are different areas with different sort of void out Y levels. This is sort of a default return. If you enter the void at all at any point, it'll run this, sort of just a fail-safe, as well as default return. And then these are based on the area you're in. It'll run this return function here. Now this is the condition that sends you to that void area or places you back. This is a system I've covered previously that returns an armor stand or a player to a stored position, but this has some modifications because this will place the armor stand at your set home position, but then it will run this function here, which then can seek out valid return location if where it ends up is not a valid return location. So that's what this is. This runs a whole thing. And then if it doesn't find anything, it'll run this failsafe. This basically just places that white stained glass and then returns the player. We're going to take a quick look at this valid return function. This right here does that column check I've talked about. This just looks directly beneath the player. So this predicate right here checks for air. If it fails, that means there is a valid block somewhere below the player within 5 blocks. So it'll run this column check and it'll teleport it down. But if there is only air down there, it'll run this plane check. This plane check checks a 5x5 area level with the execution position. If you look here, I have sort of -2 or -2, -2, -1, -2, 0, -2, 1, -2, 2, -2, and then so on. This checks 25 blocks at the same Y level. It starts at the lowest position and moves up. That's why I said it prioritizes the lower positions first. or it runs the lower positions, but it prioritizes higher planes or higher Y levels. And then once it does that, once it finds blocks in a plane, it'll teleport the armor stand to the bottom corner of that plane that it's checking, and then it'll run a row check. Now this just checks for blocks along the z-axis, and then once it finds blocks along the z-axis, it places the armor stand there, and then it runs a ground check. The ground check is just sort of a final check. If that fails, it'll then basically fail-safe the armor stand back to the starting position that's set by this function, and then it'll just run the fail-safe. So that's how that's more or less how it works. I was kind of talking quick. I just wanted to sort of showcase how this works and stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will catch y'all next time.